Hi, this is Holly Odogwu. I'm the co-founder of Autism Meets Faith, a local charity supporting kids with autism and the families raising them. And today I'm here with Stephanie Tremmel of Belle Ame Aesthetics. And you might be thinking, okay, well, what does an autism organization have to do with facials?
Yes.
Well, that's why we're here to kind of tell you about this amazing lady and what she's been doing for the moms through our organization. So every month she donates a free facial to a mom raising a child with autism. And I just wanted to kind of talk to her a little bit and get to know, okay, why did you decide to do this, and kind of share it with you guys, this amazing thing that she's doing. So, Stephanie, first, thanks for doing this and
Yeah. Thanks
talking
for
with me.
doing this with me. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's kind of start at the beginning and tell me what made you decide to get into aesthetics and become an owner of Belle Ame.
Yeah. I was never into skincare growing up. I didn't have a facial till I was 43 years old. Um, Shortly after that, I had just been in this season of really hard things going on in my life changes, hormone changes, perimenopause, my kids moving out, empty nesting. A lot of things kind of just created the perfect storm for me. And it created a time where I call my fall. And it was just a really, really dark season in my life. I had stepped away from the Lord. A lot of things were happening. Um, Sin after sin after sin, drinking a lot, and all the things. So um, when my fall came to, I just was in a deep depression, and I was like in a lot of prayer because I didn't, obviously I had nowhere else to go. I felt very alone and isolated. And in that time, I just felt like the Lord was telling me, like, I want you to go to school to be an esthetician. And I was like, what?
It seems very
Where's this
random.
coming from? Yeah. Because like I said, I barely washed my face at night up until like my late 30s. So I was not the greatest with skincare. It was never my thing. And so I ran with it. I have learned in life that when the Lord prompts you to do something, you need to listen to him and you need to do it. And even if you're scared, just do it. So I went and I researched the schools near me. I had done a couple like tours. I was registered for school within like a month. Yeah, so I quit my job. I enrolled in school. And in school, I knew I wanted to go out on my own, even though that's contrary to what everyone says when you're in aesthetic school. You need to go work for someone for quite a few years first because you don't know enough. And it's true. I completely get it. There's a lot of science based stuff. You're working on people's faces. This isn't,
Right.
but I knew that's what my calling was. And so I just dove in head first and did a lot of continued education while I was even in school. So I was taking courses that most people would take after they're done with
Gotcha.
school while I was in school, and getting everything started, starting my brand and all that. And yeah, so long story short, I finished school, went out on my own. I took my state board test about 2 weeks after I graduated, passed it, and had my space open within a month and a half. So
Wow.
here I am.
That's
And
amazing.
the reason I did that in the end was I wanted to be like a healing place for women. I wanted to be somewhere where women could come and feel supported and feel heard and not feel alone, because I felt very isolated in my time and I don't want anybody to feel like that. And so that's really like the core to this business for me.
That's amazing, especially how you say that you felt isolated and, because you're a mom too and a grandmother. And just as moms, we can feel isolated, but even more so when you're a parent of a special needs child, because a lot of people, you can't take them a lot of places
Yeah.
and join a lot of groups that other moms can. So it's almost like you just understand
Yeah.
that need for other moms. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's important.
Awesome. So as you guys can see, this beautiful studio and backdrop. So you just moved into here and
I
you
did.
you shared the journey. And I was watching on Facebook. You would post and the remodel and um, the space. So tell us how moving into here, what it means for your growth, and also what it means for the clients that you serve.
Yeah. Well, for one, we have a lot more space here. My last studio was quite cramped. I grew out of it quickly. I need machines and steam machines and all kinds of things, and they're quite big. And so I would like shimmy around my clients when I needed to get to places. And when I raise my bed up, it moves out. So it was kind of a nightmare, to be honest. So moving here gives me a lot more space. So that is the number one thing. And the location, I am also inside a high traffic area. I'm inside the Color Bar in Magnolia. And so that helps, obviously too. So just having this new space and more room, more room to walk around. And
So it's almost like it's even just beyond you feeling more comfortable. The client feels more comfortable because it's easier to breathe.
yes. And
And
if I feel more comfortable, they're going to feel more
yeah,
comfortable.
absolutely. And you guys, it is a beautiful space. Even just driving up the center that it's in is beautiful, and you just it's very serene. It has some fountain out here. It's a
Yeah, I
very
love that
positive
fountain.
space.
Yeah.
So as I said, you guys, she's partnered with us to offer a free facial every month to a mom who we nominate through our organization who's raising a child with autism. And you've been doing this since December, actually. That's when you approached us. So what made you want to give back in this way?
Well, I met you through our networking group, and when you kind of started talking about, like I said, my core was to help women any way I could, and you started talking about your nonprofit, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And Holly is just like the sweetest woman ever. You just have like a gentleness about you that I love, and at first I was like, oh, I'm going to donate a facial, to a mom, a special needs mom. And the more I sat and listened to you at that meeting, I was like, no, there's more than that. Like I want to do more than just one. And so I'd approached you and told you I was thinking about doing that. My sister had a foster daughter that was special needs. She was highly autistic. And watching her go through that and how much work it entailed and how she didn't get time to herself, and you can't find a babysitter. It's not that easy. Like any other mom, might be able to find a babysitter fairly easy. But when you have special needs children, that's not, it takes special people to be able to care for them. That's how I feel. Um, and so just seeing her go through that and knowing what they go through, we don't give ourselves enough time as moms anyways. So I knew that was a need
Yeah.
for them. And so I just wanted to just have, a time they can, and I'm sure there's extra cost involved as well, having a special needs child. So,
Right.
finances get hard, and
Absolutely.
just want to bless them that
It's
way.
so true, especially how you said that it's very hard for them to find a babysitter, which means it's more likely that they're going to put their needs on
Yeah.
the backside, right? Or overlook things. And even just this past weekend, with our explorers group of kids, we took them to Big Air. And one of the little boys, he's nonverbal, and he was getting a little overwhelmed. We were at the 2 hour mark, but we wanted to get a group picture, and he was getting a little overwhelmed. And it was something simple because we paid for pizza for everybody, but they put parsley on the pizza. So something as simple as
Yeah.
changing and putting parsley on pizza caused a meltdown, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that normally you could explain to a child, oh, just pick it off. Well, he couldn't understand that. So at this point, the mom was getting overwhelmed and starting to cry. So in the middle of Big Air, we were trying to comfort her, and thankfully we had other moms there too that were able to comfort her and distract the little boy with some balls and
Right.
redirect. But that's so common, and so they don't ever think, okay, let me take care of myself because they're so focused on taking their child. But their mental well-being is very important.
Yeah.
And so that's really what this offers. So
Yeah,
really
it is very
thankful.
important. And if, my main thing is midlife women, hormonal changes, perimenopause. That was my big issue, that I want to help women with. And so I'm like, I know there's women that are in midlife that have small children, even grown, doesn't matter, with special needs. It's a forever job, right? So
It is, yeah.
it's hard enough to navigate through that part of life anyways, and so I just think it's even more important.
Yeah, and I know they really appreciated it. As a matter of fact, since we're now in June, you've had a few moms come
Yeah.
through us. What has been their reaction like, and how does it feel to give them that moment?
It feels amazing. I love it. Their reaction's been grateful, happy, relaxed. Some of them have never had a facial before, and they're in their 40s, 50s as
Right.
well. It just feels good. Like, this is why I started this business. And obviously, I still take clients and I need to make money and I have
Right.
overhead and all of
Yeah.
that. But I want to give back wherever I can. And that's just a small piece of it. So I really just love, I love their reaction. I love that they're like, thank you so much for this. And it's just, this is what the love of Christ is all about. And that's what I want to shine through this business.
Absolutely. I know on my side, when I get the email after the facial, first the email of acknowledging, like, wow, thank you so much for this. It's amazing. And then afterwards, they've all said, one, that it was amazing, the facial. But the main thing that they all say is that the conversation with you
Yeah.
during this time has actually been what they needed. I don't know if you have a background in therapy.
I do not. I do not.
But they all say how easy it is to talk to you and how just lifted they feel after coming through here. And so that's been amazing in itself. Even just beyond the facial, just the fact that they got to talk to you and have someone understanding and treat them, it's made a huge impact. And definitely when you go into a partnership with somebody and are nominating people, you always hope for the best, right? That they have
be a good experience.
And it's just been the feedback phenomenal and amazing for these moms, and they've just all been so grateful.
I love to hear that. That's awesome. I love that. I love that. I just try to relate to people on their level because I've been through a lot, and I've, like I said, been lonely and isolated and been judged, and that's not okay, and I just want everyone to feel it doesn't matter what you're going through or what you've been through or, what you're currently going through. It doesn't matter. We're all human. We all have things. Yes, exactly.
And feel whole. That's amazing.
Yep.
And a lot of our moms do. They feel that judgment when they go places because what might be throwing a fit for a neurotypical child, a child that doesn't have special needs, really, for a child with special needs, it's just a meltdown because they're overwhelmed. And so they get all the time, we hear they were judged in the store. Somebody said something about controlling their child. And especially for a parent with a nonverbal child, it's hard because the child doesn't know how to relay or communicate. The only way they can show their distress is through screaming.
And lack of understanding that people just,
Definitely. So it's definitely created a welcoming space for the moms.
Good. I love that.
Yeah, it's been amazing. So I do want to ask you though, like, because you do have a podcast. I don't know if we mentioned that.
I do. Yes. It's called Beyond Beauty with Stephanie. And I just launched my second season yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. Yeah. The 15th anyways. So.
Awesome. And been listening, and you really open up.
Yeah.
You share a lot, and it's really just a great space for moms to listen and relate. Like, yeah, I relate to that. Because a lot of times, especially as Christians, we kind of hide our problems, right? And especially if we do share it, it's not until it's been long ago and it's a testimony.
Right.
We don't want to share or find that support group to help us through it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like your podcast is like, hey, it's okay. We can form a support group and be honest with our fellow Christian women. But
that's because of what I went through, and I was that person that hid it and I had it all together and I was fine and, nothing's wrong and I'm strong. I can handle this. Just suck it up. And until I broke, and so I just want to help women to realize that it's okay to go through these things. I don't know, even if just one lady, listens to me and might detour herself from making some of the same choices I made, that have lifelong effects. And so that's really just my goal. And it's hard to be vulnerable like that and to put yourself out there and because of judgment, and I just really got to stay planted in the Lord and remember that it doesn't matter. Like, I got to keep my eyes on him. Like, that's all that matters, so
that's awesome. So through your podcast and also through this, and that's why we're doing this video to share her amazing heart, you have connections with other businesses. I know we met through a business networking. I'm not saying it's Women Council of Entrepreneurs. But what would you say to encourage other businesses that want to give back to the community? Or how can they do it, or why they should do it?
Right. Well, I think it's important. I think it's needed. I think we should all use our talents that the Lord's given us to help his people. And that's why he gives us these talents. And we can't just keep them to ourselves, right? How? I mean, there's a lot of different ways. For me, it was joining the networking group and being able to meet women in all different areas of business. And so that just kind of opens the door to, that's also how I also volunteer at our daughter's house, which is like it's a woman's home for girls that are aged out of foster care and they have nowhere to go because they turn 18 and they get booted, and they have nowhere to go. And that's how I found them as well. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I really want to be involved in this. And so I think that's the best way, is networking is so amazing. I never knew how amazing it would be. And I did not want to go when I first went. I was like, I don't belong here. This is not my thing. Like, I'm not good at public speaking, but it's opened so many doors. And I've met really amazing women, and I've built friendships from meeting these women. It's just been a complete blessing. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Like how you say networking. And even for me, because I joined them, and even though we're a nonprofit, we're not a business, you still have to run a nonprofit like a business, because it takes funds to be able to serve these families. So it's really just a great way of getting out there and letting businesses know who you are. Because I remember meeting with someone from a local newspaper, and she's like, I've never heard of you, and we've been around for 4 years. So people have to hear about you so that you can grow your impact for families. And being able to do this with you in the facials is amazing, especially that you're volunteering with another organization. So I really see that it's where your heart is. So I guess that's what business is. You should look for where your heart is, where your connection is, to find an organization that fits within that cause, so that you can truly feel good beyond the business benefits. But it makes you feel good, the philanthropy, knowing, hey, I have a connection to this area. And that's how.
Right. And I think prayer is huge, right? Like asking the Lord, give me discernment. Show me what you want me. I've had to ask him that a lot. I'm like, sometimes I can be dense. Like, you got to really just put it out there for me, okay? And he will. He'll put it out there for you.
Absolutely, he will. He'll lead you.
Yep.
All right. So before we wrap up, I want to ask you, and this is something she actually said she didn't know beforehand, but what is your self-care routine when you have a time to relax?
Well, yeah, I had a hard time answering this one. I do go get facials. Sometimes my husband gives me facials here at the studio. I've taught him all he knows, and he's very good with massage, so I'll have him come and do that. But I do go to a fellow esthetician that I know, and I get facials from her because I can take care of my skin, right? That's not an issue. I've got all the education, I've got all the things, but it's not the same as having the experience of relaxing and all that. Just unwinding at home and having quiet time for me. I've always been a go, 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 go kind of person. I didn't really know how to relax. My kids were involved in travel sports their whole lives, so when they left, it was like, now what am I going to do? And then I dove into the business. And so I had all that. And I think finding my medium and being able to say no to things and have boundaries and doing enough, but not too much to where I feel overwhelmed. That's my self-care, because it was something I had to learn.
Yeah. I think a lot of moms too is knowing when to say no just for your peace.
Yeah.
That it's okay.
Yeah, it is okay. Awesome. And I don't have to have a reason. It's just
just that you need to
no
say
thanks,
no. And that's important, because a lot of times I think when people want to say no, they feel like they have to come up with a reason, and then they find themselves with little white lies.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to.
And it stresses you out because you don't want to have the white lies, and you don't want to, you feel obligated in a sense.
Right.
And we don't need to.
Yeah. You hear that, moms? It's okay to say no
for
your own peace.
It is. So. In fact, it's important.
Yes. Okay, well, Stephanie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and share your
thank
heart.
You for doing this with me.
From all the moms, I know we're doing this for a year, so even the moms to come in here, I just thank you so much, and just pray that God continues to bless you and everything that you do.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Ollie.